trauma. I did this heart health event last night with the DMV links, and the doctor, the cardiologist there, said that a lot of people are experiencing at this point, Dr. Reginald Robinson, vicarious trauma. We are living vicariously through the trauma that we are absorbing through the news, through what we're reading, through what we're seeing in communities, and I feel that viscerally.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do, because, you know, I think a lot of what they're doing is psychological warfare against government employees, but a lot of us are picking up on that psychological warfare. I mean, if you send your kid to school and that school is concerned that ICE is going to show up at school, and teachers, instead of focusing on the important work of teaching your kids, are going to be contending with federal immigration enforcement, yeah, you think about that when you put your kid on the bus to school. You think about that when you pick them up. It enters the day-to-day reality of your life. If you're a person like the three of us who not only cares about yourself and the people you love, but cares about your community, then you are feeling the reverberation of every choice that they are making every day.
It hurts. It hurts a lot of people. It hurts a lot of families. And, you know, I know from some folks in the MAGA land that I've talked to who are now sitting there going, well, I didn't think that it would go here. I didn't think it would be like this. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, boo. The man told you this is what you want to do. What did you think being a dictator for one day meant? Well,
but say what you said in the break, because at least it was like saved for TV, and we should have. But the fact that people, they didn't think so because there are many people who were hand waving and wagging the finger at us saying, oh, this is just, Project 2025 is just a policy paper. Yeah. You all, I mean, Bill Maher tried to wag his finger at Stephanie Ruhle, talking about she's trying to make it seem like that's Trump's policy, and it's not. When in reality, they're doing exactly what they said they weren't going to do.
Right. And I don't understand why people would think otherwise. Mm-hmm. If you paid attention at all over the last, let's go back, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, Donald Trump has always told you what he wants to do. And he tells you because he doesn't think you can stop him. And so it was very important to understand what Leveling Up Project 2025 was all about. Keep in mind, they backtracked on Project 2025 because they got called out on it. Mm-hmm. If no one had focused on a 900-page policy paper, trust me, right now everybody be going, what Project 20? But you knew, you had it.
Taraji P. Henson tried to save the Republic.
She tried to tell us at the BET Awards, honey.
There you go. And everyone blew it off because they didn't want to believe that a man in the Oval Office would do something like that. But when you don't have any regard for the Oval Office, you don't have any regard for the position of the presidency, when you want to remake it in your own image, this is what you do. And this is how you do it. So, yes, think about what this country looks like with no education, no Department of Education to assist and aid those who are on SNAP programs, who are on special ed programs, who are trying to get their kids from one grade to the next. Think about that.
We're going to have to find some joy, folks. Cowboy Carter, the Eagles, something.
Not everybody going to
We got more of the weekend after this. Coming up next on Velshi, Allie will be joined by Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser. He was part of that lawsuit to block Elon Musk's act.
Washington, Donald Trump was moving on to his next targets, the Department of Education and the Department of Defense, which, of course, has billions of dollars in contracts with Elon Musk.
Have you directed Elon Musk to review Pentagon spending, given it's the biggest discretionary spending in the federal budget?
Yes, I have Pentagon, education, just about everything. We're going to go through everything, just as it was so bad with what we just went through with this horrible situation we just went through.
Is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. They're finding massive amounts of fraud, abuse, waste, all of these things.
Now, Donald Trump has not provided any evidence, it's important to note, of massive amounts of fraud, abuse, or waste since Musk started dismantling the U.S. government, including any of that evidence at USAID. Out front now is Andrew Natsios. He's a lifelong Republican. He ran USAID under President George W. Bush. Andrew, it's good to have you with us tonight. I know that you initially called President Trump's plan to essentially eliminate USAID illegal, outrageous, criminal. The fact that this was temporarily halted a short time ago, how do you think this is going to end?
I have no idea. I don't know what the courts are going to rule. I don't know whether he's going to listen to the courts. I don't know what the Congress is going to do. I only can tell you the enormous damage this has done to our image in the world. In the developing world, AID is regarded as one of the premier development agencies in the world. Heads of state rely on AID for advice on development. Ambassadors rely on it to get things done. It's a dominant humanitarian response agency. And I might add, there is an obsession in AID, and has been for decades, with accountability. The notion that they found a lot of fraud and abuse is garbage. It's a bold-faced lie. And I can tell you that from personal experience. I examined the books when I was there because I have a background in management. I've run 7 institutions in the last 45 years. AID was the best managed. The employees are among the smartest. Given the stress they're under, I find it astonishing that people would make comments like that. And the fact that Musk made this after looking at the records for 2 weeks with a bunch of young kids who have no experience in development and probably have never even been to a developing country and seen an aid program. Have they ever been to a refugee camp or a famine or an aid program in Africa or Latin America? I don't think so. So why are they reviewing all the projects? I'm told by people who've watched it that they just randomly cross out programs for defunding them. They don't look at any of the documentation or whether the program is well run or not, because sometimes we have program failures. I know that. Mm-hmm. All human institutions are fallen. Business, labor, government all have weaknesses because we're weak. We're human beings. And so are there problems in aid? Of course there are. There are problems in every federal and state and local agency in the United States. But there is an index used in the federal government about how well managed an agency or department is. Mm-hmm. AID is ranked the 3rd best in the federal government. Now, how did that happen when Musk is making these charges? It doesn't make any sense.
Good evening from Los Angeles. I'm Chris Hayes. All along, the plan was Project 2025. The 900-page far-right blueprint on how to go full authoritarian in a second Trump term, a document so full of unpopular, radioactive, and illegal ideas that Donald Trump pretended throughout the campaign he had nothing to do with it, even though we all knew he did. Today, the Trump administration succeeded in adding to a key post one of the top architects of Project 2025, someone who should be quite famous and will be, I think, as time goes on. His name is Russ Vought. He's the guy who literally wrote the chapter in Project 2025 that lays the foundation for the ongoing Trump-Musk attack on your government's most basic functions. In his chapter of Project 2025 on how to wield executive office of president, Vought wrote that OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, should operate as the president's mind, adding it's vital the OMB director and his political staff, not the careerists, drive these offices in pursuit of the president's actual priorities. Just moments ago, all 53 Senate Republicans voted in lockstep to confirm Russ Vought as director of the powerful Office of Management and Budget. All 47 Senate Democrats and independents voted against Vought's confirmation. Each of them shouted their reason for voting no, in turn being shut down by the Senate's presiding officer.
Ms. Hassan.
Pursuant to Rule 12, no debate is permitted during a vote. The senator will suspend.
Mr. Hawley. Mr. Heinrich.
Pursuant to Rule 12, no debate is permitted during a vote.
Mr. Hickenlooper.
Pursuant to Rule 12, no debate is permitted during a vote. The senator will suspend.
Ms. Hirono.
Pursuant to Rule 12, no debate is permitted during a vote. The senator will suspend.
Today's protest came after 30 straight hours of debate over the vote, where Democrats occupied the floor, spoke out continuously and angrily about the dangers posed to the constitutional order by Vought's confirmation.
Russ Vought wrote Project 2025, and now Donald Trump is rewarding him by inviting him into the government in order to carry out the Republican blueprint to make our government force people to live in the image that Russ Vought and other extremist Republicans approve of.
He's the last person who should be put in a job at the heart of the operation of our government.
Behind every one of these budget lines are people. People who will be hurt if the president and Mr. Vought get their way and cut off federal grants.
Vought has shown complete disregard for democratic institutions.
He is Donald Trump's most dangerous nominee.
So, folks, you can see that some MAGA people are getting mad. They're getting mad. You see Republicans, and you're seeing all sorts of Republicans getting mad for different reasons. You see a lot of the core MAGA people. They've been mad over the H-1B stuff. They've been mad over the fact that Trump said it was going to be America first and cheaper eggs, and what they're getting instead is war with Greenland, apparently, and now Trump is bending over even more to support global conflict. A lot of the MAGA people that actually did think, oh, Trump's the pro-peace candidate, they're getting a friggin' rude awakening, I can tell you that. But even more traditional Republicans are mad now because Trump is tearing down the levers that American society has had to project global influence. And whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, because there's a lot of people who, from a progressive perspective, can be critical of the way the United States uses propaganda, the money it has to spread certain causes and around the world that are sometimes regressive. They go to countries with left-wing governments and promote right-wing propaganda, and even Democrats have done that. But the thing is, if you're a traditional MAGA Trump voter, like you're MAGA, but you believe in the kind of traditional neoconservative apparatus, and there are lots of people like that, then Trump has screwed you too, because now without U.S. aid, that's a big lever American society has to influence other countries. And so no one is happy tonight. The red hats aren't happy, and the other people aren't either.